Okay, you ready to get started?
All right, let's get started.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fourth Generation Sports Podcast. I'm your host, German. I'm joined here with my co-host, Andrew.
What's up?
And today we're going to go over a few things. We're going to go pretty NFL heavy today. We're going to go over Week 17 recap. We're going to look at the NFL playoff picture for both NFC and AFC. We're going to talk about the absolute clown show that was Antonio Brown. Jay's going to go ahead and take that one over. And then we're going to talk about free agents who we think are going to be on the move later on this year. And we're going to go ahead. We're just going to go over our Week 17 picks. Okay?
Week 18. Yes.
Or Week 18 picks, yeah. Already messing up. All right. So Week 17 recap. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go over the scores. We had the Bills beating the Falcons 29-15. No big news there other than you were disappointed by the Bills' performance.
Yes and no. I mean, they ended up pulling out and doing just fine. It was snowing. It was colder than shit. But they kept the Falcons in the game. At one point, they were losing 15-14.
Atlanta, a dome team in the South, to go
up. To go up into the snow and to compete. Yeah, it's kind of impressive by Atlanta. But, I mean, I kind of feel like the Bills have underperformed this year. That's been a common theme with them. I mean, they're 9-7?
Yeah, sitting at 9-7.
Yeah, so it's nothing. I'm not too shocked by it. I think the season in general has been a little bit disappointing for me.
Or they're 10-6.
10-6. Still, I think the season's been a little bit disappointing. I mean, Josh Allen was like the MVP candidate for the first 6 months.
He started off that way.
Yeah. So to see them at 10-6, and the fact that they still haven't even locked in
kind of
the NFC or the AFC East yet, a little disappointing.
Kind of disappointing.
But that's all we really need to talk about that.
Yeah. No big news. The Bears beating up the Giants 29-3. The Bengals beating the Chiefs 34-31.
That's huge.
That was a huge win for them.
So many ways. First off, it just knocks the Chiefs out of the one spot, just like that.
Yeah.
They can still get it with big Week 18.
But with Tennessee winning their game, they jumped that.
It's over. So that's huge. And then, I mean, it proves a lot that the Bengals aren't no joke with a sophomore quarterback, a second-year quarterback, and a rookie number one receiver. They're no joke. I mean, Mixon's over 1,000 yards. Defense is doing all right. But, I mean, to host the Chiefs and have a little game-winning field goal like that, that's pretty impressive.
And then, Jamar Chase during that game breaks the single-season rookie record for the most receiving yards.
He had like 255 or something like that?
266 on 11 receptions.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so that best game of his career so far with the Bengals. And then you kind of look back at the draft. You remember back in the draft when everybody was kind of just dogging the Bengals for not taking on offensive linemen?
Yeah.
And then they took him for their first-round pick. And now,
because it was a huge deal because Burrow tears his ACL. It's like, look, get the man more protection and he actually be as good as he was in college. And he's like, no, man, just throw it down there. Jamar's down there somewhere.
That's what you would have thought. Every other coach probably would have made that pick, an offensive lineman. But they went ahead, took Jamar Chase, the guy that he was pretty familiar with, his old teammate over at LSU, and it paid off big time. Next game, we had Tennessee just fucking bullying the Dolphins.
Oh, that's extremely disappointing by the Dolphins. They won 7 straight going to that game, and then just laid over.
Just fell off. Now, every time Tua has a performance like that, then the rumors start flying around. And then
but 2 weeks ago, he was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Exactly. So poor Tua, man. I don't think he's never gonna be secure there in Miami.
I don't think so. But I mean, I never thought he was that good when the whole tank for Tua thing was going on a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. I thought he'd be a good quarterback, but not like lead us to a Super Bowl quarterback. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Next game, the freaking Raiders going over to Indianapolis and beating the Colts. Huge. Man, the Colts would have locked it in. They would have locked in their playoff berth with that win.
I think both teams are kind of like a coin flip. You can't tell if they're good or they're bad. And I thought I was giving the advantage to the Colts. They're at home, slightly better team. But then again, they got Carson Wentz at quarterback. And I think he's kind of a joke quarterback.
And that's the thing, dude. Carson Wentz, right? former MVP candidate.
Yep.
Tears his ACL.
Yep. Super Bowl champion.
Big Dick Nick leads them to the Super Bowl. And then he comes back the next year. I think the year after that, they went to the playoffs. They got knocked out was Seattle?
Yeah. And
then Carson Wentz got hurt that game too.
Dude, his career went downhill in Philly. I mean, they were calling for his head eventually at some point because those Philly fans are crazy.
Is it safe to say and just consider him as a one season wonder? And he just had that one good year.
I think so. I mean, I wouldn't invest too much into him.
Uh-huh.
I've seen a lot of his games since he plays in the NFC East. I'm a big Cowboys fan.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think he was that good. He's a decent quarterback. I mean, he'll get you to right around 500, a little bit better than 500, and I think that's right around where his career winnings is at.
Yeah.
But again, he's not that top tier quarterback. But not everyone can have a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
Well, even reuniting him with Frank Wright, that still just didn't work out.
No, and you know what? I mean, if it wasn't for his running back for running for over 2,000 yards, how good would the Colts really be?
That's another story. Jonathan Taylor, he first player at his age, or the youngest player to go over 2,000 yards, scrimmage yards. So that's passing and rushing, 20 plus touchdowns, and he's only 22.
That's good.
Sky's the limit. MVP.
Kid's good.
MVP.
No, Aaron Rodgers.
and that's the thing. It's a quarterback heavy league. A running back's never going to win MVP, no matter how good.
If they were better than 9-7, I think he'd be a better candidate. But with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, it's a different story. But I mean, we'll talk about it later. But Aaron Rodgers, not knowing if he's even going to play in Green Bay, didn't want to play for Green Bay, and then he's fucking 13-3.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Your boys' team, man, the Jaguars, just bending over and letting the Pats have at them.
What was the 50 to 3? 10?
50 to 10,
oh,
dude.
God.
The Jaguars are worse off without Urban Meyer, dude. Urban Meyer was the guy that was holding it all together over there in Jacksonville.
I think Urban Meyer, I think he knew what he was doing coaching-wise. It was all the extra stuff. He had no clue what was going on or how to handle it. But, oh, man, poor Jags.
They beat the Bills with Urban Meyer. And the Jaguars just that bad.
And they beat the Dolphins.
They did beat the Dolphins. So
imagine being those two teams that lost to the Dolphins. Or lost to the Jags.
Lost to the Jaguars.
Brutal.
Jesus.
Dolphins, you'd still be in the playoff hunt if you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can you imagine that? The Jacksonville Jaguars is going to be the reason why you guys don't make playoffs.
That's not the reason. Let's be real. Yeah, the Bucs beating the Jets and making a comeback to beat them 28-24.
I was rooting hard for the Jets, man. I just like to see Tom Brady lose.
It would have been nice. Yeah, watching Tom Brady lose to the Jets. He's been manhandling him his entire career.
But we'll talk.
And then
we'll talk a little bit more. But
I
think Tom Brady was fueled in that comeback. I mean, he got an extra incentive to win that game.
And that's another thing is that Tom Brady had an awesome performance against the Jets, especially in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But that gets overshadowed over what we're going to talk about later. We had the Eagles beating the football team. I mean, the Eagles are kind of just starting to sneak their way into the postseason.
They're starting to get hot.
I mean, they're
starting to get hot, as much as I hate to say it.
They started off, I mean, everybody overlooked them because of who they have at quarterback and, what kind of organization they were a year ago. But they're kind of just starting to creep up on everybody. They're sitting at 9-7 right now and knocking on the door of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. The Rams coming up big against the Ravens, 20-19.
Huge clutch ending. OBJ with some quality catches there at the end. I'm a little nervous about their whole Matthew Stafford. He's kind of let me down the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't know what
he's had a great year so far. Kind of a little shaky his last couple of games, but I mean, for them to win in Baltimore and to keep that 2 seed alive is pretty impressive.
I mean that's big. That way, I mean, you can have the best that they're playing for right now is home field advantage. I don't think they're going to get that number 1 seed against.
No, it's
Green
already
Bay.
locked in.
And then they have the Niners next week, so we'll see how it goes.
At home, right?
Yeah, exactly. In LA, we'll see how it goes with Matthew
That's a big
Stafford,
game.
and hopefully he'll be back healthy and ready to go. We having the Chargers just kind of beating up on the Broncos. Nothing really big to report there. The Cardinals, though, bouncing back against your team, against them boys. What you watched the whole game, right? That one
course.
you watched the whole game.
Yeah, of course.
What did you see? Dak kind of struggled there in the first half.
Dak's been slumping, and he's been slumping big time.
Yeah.
Really, since he strained his calf. I mean, he started off so hot this season. That calf injury has set him back. I don't know if he's kind of. It's the same leg that he broke, where he broke his ankle, his high ankle.
That's right. Yeah.
Compound fracture. So I don't know if that's really messing with him a little bit.
Yeah.
It's near the same injury or what. But he has not looked good since before that calf injury, and thank God we've had the best defense, in my opinion, in the NFL since then, and that's really kept us in it. But all around, it was pretty shitty. I mean, you can't put it all on Dak. I mean, you really could, but I don't think you watched the game, but so many drop passes, so many times people hitting the hands. I mean, Zeke dropped a ball, Cooper dropped a ball, Dalton Schultz dropped a ball, but I mean, then again, Dak was airmailing a couple throws, underthrows, and then he fumbled in a huge spot.
That's right. Yeah. I did see that.
But give props to Kyler Murray. I mean, Kyler Murray kind of made it look easy against a defense that's been rolling really, really well. So.
And he started. He played a lot better last night than he has in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he is from the area. I think he's like 50 miles away is his hometown.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, he's got something to play for every time he goes to Texas. 8-0 or 9-0 or some shit like that when he plays at AT&T. So it was a good setup for him, and he exploited the Cowboys. That's for sure. And the Cardinals defense really exploited that the Cardinals defense really exploited the fact that the Cowboys offense still has a lot of things to figure out.
No, they have a lot of stuff to figure out. They really couldn't get the running game going. They couldn't get the ball out to their weapon to the weapons that they have on the outside. I did see Michael Gallup go down though. Do you have any update on that?
Yeah. So torn ACL, done for the year, and
he sacrificed his ACL for a touchdown.
Yeah, and you know what? He tore his ACL while
going
up for the catch. He tore his ACL, catches it, makes the move towards the pylon, gets the touchdown, then tears his ACL.
It really sucks for him because it's a contract year for him.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I felt like he was really underutilized there in Dallas. I feel like he could have been used.
I hate to say it, but I don't think Dallas can. I don't think that they'll end up signing him back. He missed a lot of time this season with injury. He too had a calf strain, and that held him out a lot longer than Dak did.
Yeah.
Then this torn ACL is really gonna. It's not good for him in negotiations, that's for sure. But he's still a quality a receiver. He's tall. That's really nice, and he can get up there. He's a big target in the red zone.
He's a big target. He's one of those old school big guys that you just get him outside and on one-on-one matchups. And
he does
do
well.
Some damage.
He's really
that's how he scored that touchdown with the one-on-one matchup. Yeah.
Last couple of years he's been the go route guy. Just throw it down the sideline and he'll get the 50-50 ball for you.
Yeah.
But
big time player, big time weapon.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for us in the playoffs. So that's gonna suck.
Yeah, I mean, well, best for him. I hope he gets better because I like him as a player. The Saints, they beat the Panthers. The Saints, they still have a chance.
A narrow victory too, right?
Yeah,
I was watching that game closely.
18-10, and so we'll see. We'll see what the Saints are able to do there with their third string quarterback or fourth string quarterback. The Seahawks beating up on the Lions 51-29. I was expecting
big win for Seattle.
I was expecting
super irrelevant.
I was expecting the Lions to perform, and then Russell Wilson just went out and did Russell Wilson things. Especially they've been in the headlines lately with the future of their franchise with the quarterback and their coach looking like they're on their way out. So we'll see what goes on with Seattle. The Niners escape with the win against the Texans, 23-7. Trey Lance with the second career start gets his first win. He played okay.
I looked at halftime and I was like, "Wow, this is kind of disappointing." And then I looked at the end of the game and I was like, "Wow, that's kind of impressive."
And then kind of just went off. I saw a stat earlier where they compared his deep passes to Garoppolo's, and the difference is it's like a huge difference with the amount of time that the ball's in the air that Trey Lance is in. He's going to take shots, and that's what the Niners were missing was that deep threat. I mean, they got guys who can go out and go get it. They got Debo, Brandon Ayuk,
run down there,
Kittle underneath. So they have guys who are home run hitters. They were just having trouble getting him the ball.
Yeah.
And then with Trey Lance, with the arm that he has, the athleticism, there was one play, I think they were in their own end zone, where he booted out left, comes back to the right, and hits Brandon Ayuk for a first down. And it was like plays like that, the Prescott type plays, the Mahomes type plays. Those were the plays that the Niners were missing, and that's why they went out and got him. So Trey Lance, he's still really raw. I don't think he's going to be the guy to pull them or to lead them in the playoffs, because word on the street is that Jimmy might need surgery on his thumb, because it's a torn ligament. It's the same injury that Drew Brees had last year when he had to get out, have surgery. So we'll see what happens with Jimmy if he's able to play. I know he wants to play. Everybody kind of talks shit on the guy because he doesn't like playing through injuries or whatever, but I think he does. I think he's just a fragile guy. It's just the injuries fucking suck. It's part of the game. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully Trey Lance is able to perform. They got the Rams next week in LA. They're pretty much they're in a must-win situation. That's essentially a playoff game
with the
for
Saints
them.
playing the Falcons. Yeah. It really is. They got to win.
They have to win. And then, the Rams, with the way, they're locked in for the playoffs, so who knows?
Maybe they want that 2 seed.
The Rams are going to want the 2 seed, so they're not going to roll over. We'll see what Stafford's situation is next week, but the Niners had already beat the Rams once earlier this year, so we'll see what happens. And then at the very end, we had the Packers beating the Vikings 37-10.
Really no surprise there at all.
No surprise there.
I thought maybe with a slight chance before Kirk Cousins got COVID, maybe. But then you got COVID, and I thought, well, that shit's out the window.
Even with Cousins, I don't think they win. Like
maybe,
37-10. It's not like Kirk Cousins over there manning up against Devontae Adams. Like they can't cover the fucking guy.
Rooting hard for the Vikings because at the time the Cowboys were still in it for the 1 seed. I thought maybe Cowboys beat the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins can somehow go to Green Bay and win. Cowboys get the 1 seed. But then the week just went downhill. Kirk Cousins gets COVID. That goes out the window. And that's another
thing.
Lose.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you with the season coming to an end. It's essentially playoff football starting next week, right?
Right.
For some teams.
Oh, for sure.
Do you think they potentially might change some of those COVID protocols, like with the CDC coming out and changing their perspective on when guys get COVID, instead of having the 10-day lockdown, they got to do the 5-day isolation?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I hope so.
Because the Eagles had 12 players test positive as today, and they're in a must-win situation too. Like if they win next week, they're into the playoff. They essentially are in the playoffs. They're going to need some help with from the Rams, but if they win, they're in essentially. But they have 12 guys out with COVID who can possibly be cleared by Saturday.
Yeah. So I hope so. I think I'm no doctor, no scientist, but I hope that we can get these players back onto the field as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. I mean, a ton of teams have been affected by it. I mean, the Cowboys were affected by it. We had 3 linebackers this last game on the roster, and only 2 played.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, we could have used some extra hands out there.
But
I mean, that's every team in the NFL right now. I mean, every team needs someone that's on the COVID list, and they can't play. So with this going into the playoffs, I don't know. I'm hoping some players can get back a lot sooner than expected, but